To our right-hand side, and it will be Lucas Paqueta who gets us off and underway then with West Ham United. 5 changes in all, 6 changes to the Arsenal lineup. I'll run through the two teams in just a few moments' time as Zinchenko pulls it down. The big news, Declan Rice only on the Arsenal bench. West Ham with Fabianski in goal, so Sofal, Mavropanos, Aguerd and Emerson their back four, Souček and Alvarez holding in. Then you've got Bowen, Paqueta and Ben Rama, and Kudus will lead the line in his 6th start for the club, 5 in cup ties. Aaron Ramsdale back in the Arsenal goal for the first time since September the 27th. Ben White, Gabriel, Kiwior and Zinchenko the back four. Though Zinchenko will tuck, as he invariably does, into midfield at time. Vieira and Jorginho, heart of the midfield, Nelson, Havertz and Trossard supporting Eddie Nketiah, fresh from that hat-trick at the weekend. Good atmosphere, the London Stadium not full but not far off it. Healthy crowd for a midweek game when you think both of these teams have European home games to pay for in terms of the fans' pocket and also European travel as well. So well done all the supporters turning up on what is an autumnal night. Temperatures dipping but not alarmingly so, and Mark Schwarzer is alongside me, a man who won this competition with Middlesbrough back in 2003 and 2004. What do you think, Mark?
Yeah, exciting game. West Ham, of course, at home. It's a massive opportunity against the side of Arsenal. Both sides have gone strong, and both sides have showed their intent that they want to try and progress in this tournament.
Ball boomed long by Ramsdale to the left fullback position of West Ham United, way in the distance from us. Our position is in the main stand, if you want to call it, opposite the Billy Bond stand, and there's a Trevor Brooking stand his way to our right hand side. That's where the Arsenal fans are in their hordes. We're a long way back, I would say maybe 90-100 yards back from the dugouts at least, and about 4 miles from the far touchline. And it's Zinchenko with the ball at his feet, again tucking into that more central role with his luminescent orange boots, to Ben White with his bright white tinted hair and this away strip that well, if you've had a few on a Saturday night and this was a Sunday morning kit, you wouldn't want to put it on because your head would be reeling, I would suggest. In towards Zinchenko, he's tackled and back it comes into his centre back, big Jakub Kiwior, the Polish international, who's just back in the side. A couple of league starts for him, and White has it. And what are your thoughts on the goalkeepers here, Mark? We spoke early on in the programme. What will they be looking to achieve tonight beyond the normal clean sheets and so on? Statements?
Well, of course, I think for Lucas Fabianski, I think it's kind of almost accepted now that he's the number 2. Alfonso Areola is the number 1, certainly in the Premier League, and that Fabianski still has a very important role to play. The fact that he plays in the European competitions as well as the Cup, and that's very big for West Ham. And I think for Aaron Ramsdale, it's more about for him trying to make sure he stays focused. He gets another game under his belt. He tries to perform as best as he possibly can, and just to remind Mikel Arteta what he can do.
White has it for Arsenal, 10 yards inside the West Ham half, just to the right of centre. He gives the ball away. West Ham have it back, and it's cleared by Naif Aguerd at the back. The Moroccan international, the Arsenal fans singing their relatively new club anthem, which I think has been a big part of creating extra atmosphere at their home ground. And it's a little bit of genius whoever created the song, and they're singing away to our right hand side, and West Ham have it away to my left. It's the 149th meeting between the two sides. West Ham without a win in 8 meetings back to January 2019. Who got the winning goal that day? Declan Rice. And it's West Ham over the halfway line now. This is a good burst by Paqueta, slips it too far into the box, looking for the run of Bowen, and it slips through to the goalkeeper, and out he comes to pick it up, Aaron Ramsdale. Mentioning earlier on in the show that he has this muted criticism of him that he's not as good as Arteta wants him to be with his feet. Is that fair?
Look, I think with the way that Arteta wants to play, he feels obviously with David Raya that he has the ability to just take the game a little bit further with the way he plays out of the back with the ball at his feet. I don't see it being a massive difference. I think Aaron Ramsdale is still very good with his feet. I also think all round he is a better goalkeeper. So, but that's all a matter of opinion, isn't it? That's what the manager's job is there. He has to make those decisions, and he clearly at this moment in time finds that David Raya is the preferred number one.
Arsenal looking to probe into the West Ham box. Aged is there to clear it away. Just missed a one league game this season. Very consistent centre-back he is, and very popular here amongst the fans, and indeed very well respected by his manager, I can tell you, who thinks a great deal of Aged, having brought him in for the £30 million from Rennes. It's a throw to Arsenal on the far side from me. White will take it 0-0, 5 live from the BBC, 5 minutes gone. We'll be keeping you up to date with all the rest of the scores and the rest of the games in the Carabao Cup for a place in the quarter-final tonight. This is a good run into the box as Arsenal look for Nketiah inside the 6-yard area. The run was made by Nelson and it's cleared away. And Nketiah at the moment is absolutely on fire for Arsenal. Really looks hungry for goals, doesn't it?
Yeah, there was a lot of movement in that 6-yard box from Arsenal, and Nketiah obviously was at the very much at the front of that. But it was really good defending. Mavropanos at that near post area. He does actually cop a knock after he made the clearance there, but he had to be there because it was Trossard and Nketiah really lining it up to try and tap it in from about 5 yards out.
Big burly Greek international was at Arsenal for 3 years, played just 8 games for them before moving on loan to Nuremberg and then Stuttgart and back to English football with West Ham United. Kostas Mavropanos at the back for West Ham alongside Aga. Confirmed that Dundee against Rangers will now kick off at 8:30. It was delayed because of traffic problems there. Arsenal have the ball inside their own half with Zinchenko away to Kiwior. He's playing on the right hand side of Gabriel. Return to the starting lineup. Gabriel, tall upright defender with the boots, but it's Zinchenko who scurries over the halfway line and finds Trossard with his short spiky hair, the Belgian international. And Arsenal still have possession inside their own half with Jorginho now crossing the halfway line. Nketiah coming short, holding it up, releasing to Zinchenko, left hand side, 0-0, nearly 7 minutes played here. Zinchenko infielder, lack of tidiness about the ball, lack of care and attention to it, given away. West Ham have it back inside their own half and trying to win it back through foul means and conceding the free kick. It's Edson Alvarez, and it's a free kick for Arsenal that could be dangerous here, and he might rue the fact that he got the wrong side to make the challenge.
Yeah, it's just a little bit sloppy there from West Ham. Win the possession back again, Alvarez, and then just gives away a silly foul in a dangerous area. It's actually the way that Arsenal are playing at the moment. Nketiah really does well finding those pockets in between the two lines of defence, and he's causing West Ham in these early stages of the game a little bit of a problem.
Alvarez can be lack discipline in challenge. He's picked up 6 yellow cards in all this season, all competitions in 12 games. That's too many. 0-0. We're just about to reach the 9th minute of play. Arsenal have 4 to hit inside, 5 to hit inside that penalty area. It's glanced on, fine save by Fabianski. Good free kick, looped in dangerously by Reiss Nelson and flicked on in there. I think it was Kai Havertz who got the touch, and it's a good save by the goalkeeper. It's a good little flicked header, clever by Havertz.
Yeah, it's a really well worked free kick there. Reiss Nelson's whip and direction on that cross into that near post area was very accurate, and then Kai Havertz just gets the littlest of touches on it, and Fabianski is at full stretch, makes a really good save.
Another former Arsenal connection, was at the Gunners for a long while. Lukas Fabianski always seemed to be second choice there though, didn't it? In comes the corner kick from Arsenal's right this time. It's a firm header away for West Ham United by Souček, and now they might think about countering with Peso. Tracking back for Arsenal was Reiss Nelson, and he's won it fair and square. The West Ham fans scream for a foul on that far side there left. It's not given, and Arsenal come forward again then, and they look purposeful here. Arsenal, Mikel Arteta says they have the same mindset for every game they go into, and that is to win that game and progress. He won this competition as a coach of Manchester City, who dominated this competition, and he knows what effect it can have on a season to win this competition. As Souček goes to clear it away for West Ham United, twice finalists. Jeff Pike, who was around the final when they got beaten by Liverpool back at the turn of the 80s, having won the FA Cup with Sir Trevor Brookin's goal. He was down on the pitch beforehand, which was lovely to see. West Ham remember their legends, that's for sure. And they'll have a throw in now, Arsenal on the far side. The referee was just looking towards us near side there, Simon Hoop, I don't know why. Looking across towards the dugouts, nothing was amiss. Mikel Arteta standing down there, 0-0, with his hands across his chest. short black overcoat on, and poor ball, mixed messages, cross wires. Vieira was involved, and it's going to be a goal kick for West Ham United.
Yeah, I think Vieira was in an offside position there. Ben White probably didn't see it, tried to play a direct ball through to him, and you can see Vieira just lets it go, and it goes out for a goal kick and just kills the play.
I'm sure this away kit does very, very well in the shops, and I'm sure it's very popular with many, many Arsenal fans. I'll get that out there straight away. But it reminds me of, I gave my daughter, who was 3 at the time, a yellow piece of cardboard once upon a time and a black pen, and she went to work. And this is very, very similar to the creation she came up with then. I'm sure it is very popular, Mark. Are you a fan of this yellow garb?
I don't mind it, I have to say, Jonathan. I think it stands out, let's be honest. It does get your attention, and I think really it'll depend on the result tonight whether or not I'm sold on it.
It's making my eyes bleed. Now, Arsenal have it inside their own half. The ball is tickled by Kyoyo, and they have possession on the right now. 5 live from the BBC. We've passed the 10-minute mark. 0-0. Don't forget, it has to be settled tonight. No replays, of course, not in the League Cup earlier rounds, not for a long, long time, and nor extra time either. It goes straight to penalties at the end. Trossard has it, cutting in from the left-hand side for Arsenal, 10 yards outside the box, and as he slipped, he pumped the ball diagonally straight through and out of play for a goal kick. Goal kick for West Ham United away on the right-hand side then of their defence. It'll be taken by a left-hand side, I should say. Can move it across the right if he wants to, Fabianski. And would you have been afraid? This rule wasn't there when you were playing, was it? Moving the ball from either side of the 6-yard area. Would you have loved it to have been?
Well, playing out and being able to play within the 6-yard box, no, definitely wasn't around when I was playing. Playing the ball with my feet probably wasn't my strongest point. And it's something that I think with the evolution of a goalkeeper is something that goalkeepers have had to become better and better at doing. So therefore, I think it really is a rule that accommodates that progression in goalkeeping.
The game has to evolve. It's 0-0 here at the London Stadium. It's not a cold autumnal night. It's getting a little bit chillier, but it's fairly mild for this time of the year. Paqueta wearing gloves noticeably has given that away, and Arsenal have it with young Reece Nelson on their right hand side. Contract move now through to June 2027 for him. Still games at a premium. West Ham now in possession deep inside their own half. Konstantinos Mavropanos to Soucek, dropping deep, and he plays it back then to Fabianski, who was an FA Cup winner with Arsenal when they beat Hull in that topsy-turvy final back in 2014, wasn't it? And it's West Ham United in possession now, spreading the play from left to right, diagonally 60 yards away from Aguerd was Sofal, who brings it down. Bright orange boots, short sleeves. Back it goes then to Mavropanos, short sleeves as well, and on towards Lucas Fabianski. All in green, his opposite number. All in blue, Aaron Ramsdale. And it's cleared by Aguerd, balloons the clearance up towards the halfway line. Bowen is through the middle. There's not an obvious line leader for West Ham. Bowen has played through the middle before, and indeed has that role tonight. Kudus is on the right hand side. We thought he might go through the middle. Played out by the goalkeeper Ramsdale. Good pressure by Kudus on Gabriel. That's going to be a throw in here to West Ham. Arsenal players are protesting. They might have thought it was their throw, but good work by Mohamed Kudus, and it's going to be a throw to West Ham. And it's around about 16 yards from the dead ball line on this right hand side. Then it'll be long by Vladimir Sofal, the Czech Republic international, played recently for them against Albania away in a 3-0 defeat. In comes the throw from him into that penalty area, headed on inside there. Good little header on by Mavropanos, but Arsenal clear. Away to Emerson on the West Ham left. He's lost possession, and Reece Nelson will try and power away all alone. He's the furthest forward Arsenal player and still is, and galloping, and he's carried 35 yards and make that 40, and he's between the penalty box and the left-hand touchline as the challenge is put in and one back for West Ham. That's a good run by Nelson.
Yeah, it was, but he was kind of always running away into the corner without any support. There was no Arsenal players that got up to him, and he kind of always was running out of space. In the end, West Ham doubled up on him and quite easily won the ball.
Just about to kick off. Ipswich, Fulham, Everton, Burnley, Chelsea against Blackburn, Bournemouth, Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle is an 8:15 kickoff. Don't forget that'll be on 5 Live Sports Extra, and then when we finish here, that will go over to 5 Live. It's going to be a throw to Sofal, deep inside his own half. Vladimir Sofal He has missed just 4 minutes of league football this season. A demanding season for West Ham and Arsenal with Europe, and it's about to get worse because the European-bound clubs, I think, have 7 games to play in December, maybe even more off the top of my head. So it's going to be an exacting period. It's when the campaign really gets underway in the Premier League after the stop-start we've had with international breaks and European fixtures and the whatnot. West Ham have it 0-0 on 5 Live, and the ball is diagonally played forward to Kudus. That's a great run in behind there, and just stretching to get there was 6'3" Brazilian defender Gabriel, and didn't he do well at the stretch to save Arsenal?
Yeah, he did very, very well. It was a really dangerous ball into the 18-yard box. It just kept going and going and going, and you could see Gabriel had to get something on it. If not, West Ham were in, and he just gets enough on it, and unfortunately for Arsenal goes in behind for a corner.
That Bowen will take right side. Souček is in there as you'd expect him to be. Mavropanos at the far post. Arsenal with all back in towards the near post, and it's an own goal off Ben White, I think, and West Ham United lead. And White hugs the metal post behind the goal, seeking some comfort, but he'll get nothing from that bare metal. And it's West Ham United who strike first here. Arsenal are complaining. Aaron Ramsdale leads the complaints to the referee, obviously claiming he was fouled in there, but West Ham United lead by a goal to nil at this stage.
Yeah, it's a really good ball, dangerous ball into that 6-yard box, into that near post area. With such whip and curl on it. There's a lot of bodies in that area. Arsenal should deal with it better than they did. You can see there Ben White he just sort of overruns it a little bit. It's got such a curl on the ball and just beats everyone with the deftness of touches into his own net.
Souček had a hand full of Aaron Ramsdale's shirt in there. Should that goal stand?
No, I think it's a foul. You can see it here. Yeah, you can see it on the replay. That's what Ramsdale was complaining about, and they've actually just played on, not given it.
Well, the fact is there is no VAR at Carabao Cup games. We complain about VAR, that would have been disallowed had it been here. Here's Vieira now for Arsenal, looking inside the box for Havertz to get in around the back. Couldn't get solid contact on it, and out comes Łukasz Fabianski to sprawl and save. West Ham lead 1-0.
Yeah, for me that's a clear foul on Aaron Ramsdale. You can see he's clearly got hold of his shirt, and it's preventing Ramsdale from getting to that near post area. I mean, who knows whether he would have got there or not, but the fact is he was prevented from having any chance whatsoever.
West Ham lead with a Ben White own goal. Seeing a replay there of Havertz. Good run round the far post area, but couldn't get meaty contact on it. Still the jury out on Havertz from Arsenal fans. Has the 1 goal in his 15 games. Not a great return for £65 million. The jury was by and large out on him as a Chelsea player for a long, long time. Don't really think Chelsea got the best out of him, because I don't think they ever really knew how to get the best out of Kai Havertz.
No, I don't think they did. I mean, obviously he's a Champions League winner with Chelsea, did very, very well in that final, as he did for that season, I thought. From that point onwards, though, it just kind of really struggled for him to find any rhythm, any kind of momentum in the side.
Chance here for Arsenal to Kuriak back in towards Reece Nelson inside the penalty area. West Ham United cleared away. Owen dropping very, very deep here to hold possession and drew the foul. And inevitably it was going to come in from Kirill, who rushed up, got too tight behind him, and a foul conceded by the Polish international. A very good World Cup, I thought, in Qatar did Kirill. Recently played from another couple of internationals as well. The man they signed from Spezia, Mikel Arteta, purse-lipped down on the touchline. The collar of his light overcoat, I would suggest, just turned up a little bit. Cantona styly, and it'll be a free kick then for West Ham United, cleared away by Fabianski. And a little flick on there by Paquetá, just here and there is finding tiny little pockets of space to create a nuisance of himself. Jorginho is the man who's detailed with him, of course. And Ramsdale throws out now. Arsenal trailing 1-0 to West Ham. Gabriel has it, and the throw comes out then towards Trossard for an Arsenal side who won this in 86-87 against Liverpool 2-1, and then in 92-93 against Sheffield Wednesday 2-1. Runners up 6 times in League Cup finals. Remember when Leeds beat them back in the late 60s with the Terry Cooper goal, one of the first League Cup finals I can remember, that one. Now here's Trossard back in 20 23 on 5 Live on the BBC, and 20 minutes gone very nearly, and West Ham are 1-0 up, and here's Ben White in possession. No goals elsewhere for you at the moment. Dundee Rangers is a late kickoff in the Scottish Premiership. I can tell you, Rangers 5 points behind Celtic, who were held, of course, at the weekend. Now, Arsenal look to have it. It's 2 yards outside the box, trying to sneak it in towards Eddie Nketiah. It's cleared away on his front. Zinchenko, he's 30 yards out, thought about a shot, plays diagonally across the turf though to Trossard. Havertz again taking up a good position, but his touch was heavy, and he goes away and out of play for a goal kick, and he scuffs the ball against the advertising hoarding behind the goal in frustration.
Yeah, he does really well initially, Kai Havertz. He tries to play that ball in behind the West Ham defender. Nketiah gets blocked. He really does well to win the ball back, and it's a quick turnaround again. It's just that final touch, unfortunately for him, that just lets him down.
I was asked by a friend today, who was I working with on the radio, and I said Mark Schwarzer, and they said, did you know there's a World Cup cricket match being played this evening? And I said, no, I hope there isn't, because we're certainly not going to mention cricket with the man sitting next to me. And there isn't a Will. He was joshing me. But it hasn't been. We're not going to talk about it, Mark.
Well, we can if you like.
No.
I mean, Australia's doing really, really well now. And what are England doing?
Heading home.
Oh, okay.
And it's tackled one unfairly by Paqueta, centre circle. Not too sure about that one. Let's see it again. He's, rather it was Alvarez who was it? Yes, it was. He's clapping his hand ironically towards the referee as he bumped into the Arsenal man Vieira. Took the penalty at the weekend, didn't he? Eddie Nketiah didn't go for 4 goals. Vieira expecting with his partner, and celebrated with the old ball up the shirt as they do, and have done since World Cup '94 with Romario and Bebeto. You'll remember that perhaps. Now away by Aged, over the top for West Ham United, headed down and not away though by Kiwior, and West Ham push again, and look for Bowen through the middle, and Gabriel had to step across and find Ramsdale, who kicks away for Arsenal up towards the halfway line, where Nketiah will chase across with Mavropanos, who heads it away and out of play. Injuries blighted him in that spell at Arsenal. Kostas Mavropanos had several problems. He had an adductor injury this season as well. He's played just the 1 minute of league football. It's 1-0 to West Ham United here on 5 Live. Thoroughly enjoying being back on the radio again. And it's going to be Kiwior now, torn and upright, short sleeve, little wrist bandage or sweatband, I think it is, on his right wrist there, as Ben White has it. White into Jorginho, won just about everything as a Chelsea player, but I don't think he won this. A World Club Championship, European Super Cup, Champions League, Europa League, but not this particular tournament. That's my memory is playing tricks on me. Here's Zinchenko now for Arsenal on the half turn. Bowen went the wrong way, so he has it plumb dead centre, around about 15 yards inside the West Ham half, and the ball is stroked out eventually wide towards Reece Nelson. Vieira tries a little spin on the ball, and in doing so he draws a free kick for the challenge by Alvarez. St Johnson lead against Kilmarnock in the first minute. Clark getting the goal there. Free kick here then to Arsenal on 5 Live, midway through the half. We've just passed the midway mark actually. It's been mostly West Ham, mostly Arsenal, hasn't it, Mark? Actually,
it has, yeah. I mean, the goal sort of came against a run of play. West Ham had a couple of little bright moments in the Arsenal and yard box. This free kick is kind of the reverse opposite to the one previous from Reece Nelson on the left-hand side of the pitch. This is now on the right-hand side. So delivery previously was really, really good. Let's hope for Arsenal that he gets a good delivery back into the box now and puts West Ham under pressure.
Nketiah's on the edge of the penalty area with Trossard. The big men are inside, and Ben White is one of them. Heads on, and Fabianski makes sure and pushes it away and over the bar. Did he do the right thing?
Yeah, I think it was a really awkward ball, that one. He had to get something on it. It was dipping down. It looked like it was either going to hit the crossbar or possibly even come down underneath the crossbar and in the back of the net. So Fabianski had to make sure that the ball goes out for a corner. 5
clean sheets in his last 14 games, and Ramsdale 4 clean sheets in 19 now. It's going to be a corner kick then for Arsenal on their left-hand side, and Reece Nelson will take it. Had a league start this campaign. He's had to be very patient. In comes his right-footed cross, and that's headed just over. And that's a big chance. Nketiah rose unmarked, and headed over and wide. Let's go to Celtic Park. Celtic against St Mirren. Connie McLaughlin.
It's Celtic 0, St Mirren 1. Celtic ahead. Conor McManaman silenced the home crowd here in Glasgow. Confusion at the back for the champions, and McManaman took advantage. Remember, Celtic 5 points clear before this match. Will it be the same come the end of it? Celtic 0, St Mirren 1.
Hasn't been a great game for them at this moment. Declan Rice, you wonder what a reception he would get. He's warming up for Arsenal, just a warm-up early on. Nothing fancy about it, and he got a tremendous reception. Let's go to Portman Road. Ipswich last in the quarter-finals back in 2010-11 when they reached the semi against Arsenal. They're at home to Fulham tonight. Flo Pollock.
And they're trailing. Ipswich 0, Fulham 1. Harry Wilson got loads of space out on the right-hand side. Played through to him, skipped round the keeper, slotted it home. Ipswich 0, Fulham 1.
Update Chelsea Blackburn, John Southall.
Chelsea 0, Blackburn 0. Chelsea have come flying out of the traps. 9 seconds. Jackson with a deflected shot and a big penalty call. Sterling went down under a challenge from Travis. Not given, no VAR. Chelsea 0, Blackburn 0.
Everton 0, Burnley 0. Manchester and Newcastle kicks off at 8:15. You want to listen to that one? Go to 5 Live Sports Extra, and then when we finish here, they will be coming on to 5 Live itself. Zinchenko creeping forward inside left position for Arsenal, looks for Nketiah coming away from goal, not strong enough to hold it up against the strength of Kostas Mavropanos, and he tears into the Arsenal half and then thinks better of it and has a look up because he's got a nosebleed this high up the pitch, really, Mavropanos. But I'll tell you what, hasn't he done well there to force a corner?
Yeah, he's done really, really well. He's used all his experience there. There's a couple of times he looks up, wants to try and find one of his teammates in the box. It just wasn't really on, so he just kept going with it until basically he ran out of room, and then played a ball across into the box and just takes a deflection and wins the corner. Well played.
Corner ball for West Ham United. I meant this their third corner of the game, and they lead 1-0 with 26 minutes gone on the clock, and Mark Bowen will take it with those claret and blue socks on and the claret and blue shirt, and in comes across towards that near post, and it's flicked on at that near post again, and they're creating danger at these set pieces, and this time the referee does give a free kick. It was flicked on by Alvarez, and there's a little bit of to and fro and inside that penalty area now. Souček was involved, free kick given, and David Moyes down there on the touchline asked the fourth official, Sam Barrett, who was in charge of Bournemouth Burnley at the weekend, what was going on there. Free kick given. What did you see there, Mark?
It just seemed like Souček possibly just rammed into Ramsdale. I don't think it was intentional, and Ramsdale ends up getting a hand on it, but then ricochets off the far post. We'll see as the replay comes in now. He goes up for the ball. Souček's got his hand actually in Ramsdale's face. That's what the complaint was about. Ramsdale obviously didn't take too kindly to it, but it definitely was unintentional.
Arsenal play out. Rousing atmosphere here now. Often is between these two clubs. Played back by Zinchenko to Ramsdale. West Ham fans trying to urge their team to put pressure on them inside that penalty area. Arsenal have reached round 5 in the last 6 seasons of this, but they're behind here, and listen to the roar as Bowen closes there on the Arsenal centre-back Kiwior and slides in, and the ball goes out of play just for a goal kick in this repeat of the 17-18 quarter-final when Danny Welbeck scored the winning goal for Arsenal in the 1-0 success. St Johnstone are 2-0 up. Another one for Clark there, his second of the game. Update for Bournemouth against Liverpool now. Sohail Saeed.
Yeah, 12 minutes played here, Jonathan. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 0. Decent start from the home side. Liverpool have been slow out the blocks as the rain sweeps and swirls around the Vitality. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 0.
Everton against Burnley, John Bennett.
It's 0-0. Good contest this one. Calvert-Lewin with a header wide for Everton, and off the pitch Everton owner Farhad Moshiri is in attendance here at Goodison Park for the first time since October 2021. Everton 0, Burnley 0.
Burnley twice semi-finalists, right back in 60-61 at the birth of the competition. They made the last 4. Everton twice runners-up in it. West Ham United 1, Arsenal 0 here at the London Stadium. West Ham United runners-up in 66 and 81. Come here with the benefit of a European trophy in the cabinet, the Conference League, but David Moyes knows that though he has credit in the bank, he needs wins on the board here after 3 defeats last week against Sevilla away, crumpling 4-0 Olympiacos away in Europe 2-1. That 17-game European run came to an end, and then here dismally against Everton at the weekend 1-0. As I was coming in, a steward said to me, and a lifelong Wester, I tell you, this boy, he has claret and blue running through his veins. He's about 85 now, and he said to me, we were simply awful at the weekend, JP. And he's seen it all here. He's seen the ups and downs. He's seen Upton Park, and he's seen this London stadium, where now the noise is far greater, far more often than it was in its infancy as a football stadium. It's grown as a football stadium. Arsenal have it, 0-1. Ramsdale just outside his penalty area, rolls to his left-hand side. Kirill plays to Ben White just outside the penalty box. Let's go back to Goodison. Everton against Burnley and John Bennett.
Goal for Everton. Everton 1, Burnley 0, and it's a former Burnley player, James Tarkowski. Excellent header, cross from the left-hand side. Rose brilliantly. The goalkeeper didn't even move. Everton 1, Burnley 0.
Success in this competition can be a catalyst, and Sean Dyche will know that against his old club, of course. Here's Nketiah crossing the halfway line for Arsenal to the right hand side, leaves the ball at the feet of Vieira to the right hand side of the penalty area. Here's Nelson, in comes across, looking for Big Havertz in the middle, dealt with well in the air by Mavropanos, this 6'4" giant of the Greek defender, and West Ham United clear away. A little loop ball from the right full-back position by Sofal. Look then for Edson Alvarez, but it's given away by West Ham poorly, and Nelson has it just outside the box and shapes to shoot, and it's deflected away off Aged's boot. That's a corner. That was a mistake by West Ham.
Yeah, it was a mistake from West Ham. It was just a poor crossfield ball as they were trying to play out from the back. It was Kudos actually who played that square ball. But what West Ham have done really well at the other end is they've closed Arsenal down really well when they try to play out at the back. And the opposite is Arsenal struggled to really get close to West Ham when they're trying to play out at the back, and therefore it's made it a lot easier for them. And that one moment there was an opportunity there. Reece Nelson needed to play the ball onto Vieira on the outside of him, elects to shoot, but they do win the corner.
Well, they've been dangerous in the air already, Arsenal. White in particular, in comes that corner, it's flicked on and just wide. Havertz has also been a danger in the air with his height. He looks down, disappointed, shakes his head ruefully. The header went wide. That's a chance.
I tell you what, every time that ball goes in the box for Arsenal, every time there's a set play, it's an Arsenal player that gets the first header. They should have tested Fabianski more so far in this early stage of this first half.
Big man Kai Havertz, at 6'4" tall. He hasn't missed a game for Arsenal this season in all competitions, that is. He hasn't started a game since October the 3rd, I think it was, when they went to Lens, and didn't go there in the right shape of mind to play in that stadium. That's a fiery old stadium, that Lens stadium, red and gold and passionate, and they got put out that night, Arsenal, I felt. Now here's Arsenal's Jorginho, calms things down, has made a habit of it throughout his long career that started all those years ago when he moved at 15 to Italy from Brazil. Here's White now. White for Arsenal, tucked in from that far touchline, the right, plays it back to Ramsdale, right foot, he clubs it up over the halfway line, but it's straight to a claret and blue, and Aged is there, and West Ham lead 1-0 with 32 on the clock, and it's flicked on by Havertz now, central midfield, and Vieira's off and running here. Vieira for Arsenal, looks to the left-hand side, caresses the ball towards Leandro Trossard, and he is not fouled. The referee says go on. Jorginho has it. Fleetwood 1, Blackpool 0 in League One. Fleetwood 22nd in the table. Blackpool were 8th today and looking to make inroads up towards the playoff positions, but trailing. Local derby up there, local derby here in East London, and West Ham lead it by a goal to 0, and Arsenal have possession now, 10 yards in from the right hand touch, and the ball chipped into the box by Zinchenko to Trossard. A high lob into the penalty and a little push, just a little push in there by Havertz on his man, and the referee well positioned to give a free kick.
Yeah, the problem was Havertz doesn't even look for the ball. As the ball pops back in, Trossard doesn't get the best of touch as he tries to play it back across field into the 8-yard box. As we see on the replay here again, yeah, it's a very clear pulling of the shirt on Ramsdale for the goal. You can see there Thomas Souček grabs his chest, grabs a big clump of his shirt, and this gives him absolutely no chance to get in the near post area.
Should have been disallowed quite clearly there. You can see he couldn't make up the yardage to get anywhere near his own defender who headed it into his own net. Just ask the question of the referee.
Well, I think where the referee was standing, it's very difficult for him to see it. If anyone's going to see it, it's the linesman, and of course having no VAR, he has to rely heavily on the officials to see something. Unfortunately for him, nobody saw it.
So many people are saying to me now they should get rid of VAR completely. That won't happen, I don't think. At the back for Arsenal, Kirill clears it away. There's been too much money invested globally in VAR for FIFA and UEFA and indeed the domestic organisations to scrap it. Arsenal have possession. We got a goal at Celtic against St Mirren, who were 1-0 up the last time we heard from Connie McLaughlin.
We have Celtic 1, St Mirren 1. A reply in the form of David Turnbull. His signature move just outside the ball, right-footed strike into the back of the net. It is Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
Thank you very much, Connie. More from her later on, and from Jane Lewis, who's at Dundee against Rangers, which is an 8:30 kick-off due to crowd congestion. Manchester United, Newcastle, 8:15 kick-off in the Carabao. Bournemouth, Liverpool 0-0. Chelsea, Blackburn, likewise. Everton lead Burnley by a goal to nil. Tarkowski and Fulham are 1-0 up at Ipswich through Harry Wilson. A lot of people thought that would be a surprise. Now here's Nelson attacking the West Ham box, way away to our left-hand side. Drops it off to Vieira, into Nelson again. In support of him was Trossard. Plays back now to Jorginho. Strokes a right foot instep pass to the right corner of the box. It's lofted in by Vieira towards the far side of the penalty area, and Havertz just looped it forward. It was a heavy touch. I think he might have got his foot just caught in the turf there, but it's in the hands of the goalkeeper.
Yeah, he may have. It was a very difficult ball, though. I mean, it was a poor cross into the box there. Havertz is that far post. He does his best to try and get control of the ball, and it just sort of comes off the top of his foot and lobs back towards the 6-yard box. It was very easy for Fabianski to come off his line and collect uncontested.
Saw him play lots of times for Bayer Leverkusen. Superb. For Germany as well, he's been scintillating at times. Got a couple of goals in the Euro finals of 2021 and a couple at World Cup in Qatar as well. We've been against Costa Rica, I think, but we've not, I think, seen the best of him. Apart from that, what Mark was saying, that Champions League season where he won it for Chelsea, that was his best. Here's Zinchenko now for Arsenal. 10 yards inside the West Ham half, equidistantly from the left-hand touchline. They go to the right, and Jorginho plays a diagonal ball here to Nelson. He's had a bright first half, cuts inside, won't want to shoot left foot, comes back onto the left foot, does shoot left foot, hits Agar, bounces away then towards Ben White, juggles the ball just outside the penalty area, yard outside. West Ham United with 8-9 players back in and around that penalty area, but Arsenal still have it with Nelson, who's been bright and breezy so far, draws the ball back. Now Zinchenko, 10 yards outside the box, tried a difficult pass and the chance is gone, and West Ham United will look to bring it away. Can't bring it away, but I think they'll regroup and settle again as Arsenal pick up possession inside their own half. It wasn't a good touch by Mohamed Kudus, actually. They gave Arsenal the ball back. 1-0 they trailed to West Ham with 9 minutes left in an entertaining first half. Zinchenko down the line here, looking for Trossard. Good challenge. So we've got a Chelsea against Blackburn and John Southall.
Chelsea 0, Blackburn 0, but Blackburn warming to their task here. Jonathan Andy Moran on the right of the 6-yard box, saved by Sanchez. They're growing in confidence, the Championship side. Chelsea 0, Blackburn 0.
Marriott scored for Fleetwood. They lead Blackpool by 2-0 in that League One game. On 5 Live from the BBC, West Ham leading Arsenal in the first of our commentary matches. We'll switch later to Manchester United against Newcastle. If you've just come in, that will be on 5 Live Sports Extra until we're finished here today. Now Zinchenko for Arsenal. Inside the centre circle, left-footed, side foot pass, 10 yards away is Ben White. White has a look, ponders, takes another touch, ponders, takes another touch, this time to Jorginho. One more passes to his left, and Gabriel. He's got space in which he can travel here, Gabriel, before he nudges it away to Trossard. Spins a good ball into the box. Zinchenko's made up ground. He's in that penalty. Pulls it, square chance, and over it goes from Eddie Nketiah. Difficult chance, but it's looped over.
Yeah, it's a better move from Arsenal. It was a half a chance certainly for Nketiah. He just couldn't get it down, couldn't control the strike as the ball was sort of looped across to him about 8 or 9 yards out. He tries to wind his leg around it and just can't get over it enough.
What a record he has at home games, Eddie Nketiah, including that hat-trick at the weekend, 11 and 18 home Premier League starts. Ian Wright's always had great faith with him. I think they've worked closely, and when people were doubting Eddie early on in his career, goodness me, he's only still 23, Ian would tell you, no, he'll come good. And I know Eddie Nketiah has appreciated that trust, but it's Arsenal on the defensive now. West Ham have possession on their left-hand side. It's Ben Rama. He's got in support Emerson across there. Not seen a great deal of side Ben Rama in this first half as he draws the ball back then. And West Ham United will just keep possession. Nothing wrong with this. Can't go forward, then keep possession by going backwards, and that's what they've just done. The ball is in the centre circle at the feet. There's a very cultured centre-back, Naif Aguerd now. Mavropanos to Sofal. Didn't have the best of seasons last season, I didn't think, but came very strongly in the second half of it. and has had a good start this season. Whereas I was saying earlier, he's missed just the 4 minutes of league football, and he has possession just inside his own half and then gives it away with a squirt of ball forward. But they think there was a foul there on Kudus, West Ham United. David Moyes standing with his tracksuit, West Ham slate grey tracksuit on, hands in pocket, looked a bit perplexed as Arsenal build up here now with Trossard. That's a poor ball. That's a really poor ball. And West Ham can clear it away, and Kyrgios come over the top of his man and left Bowen in a crumpled heap. Free kick. Paquetá went to take it quickly. The referee said no. He wants a word with the Arsenal defender.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there. I think it's his arm that actually gets Jared Bowen in the back of the head. That's why the referee actually gives the free kick. Let's see now, as the ball goes forward there, you can see he goes over the top of Jared Bowen as he tries to flick the ball on, and it's a clear foul.
Came into the side late on last season, started their last 5 league games, did Kyrgios, which was unfortunate for him because it was that time, of course, where their league title bubble was burst. Here the bubble blowers of West Ham United lead Arsenal by a goal to 0, and the ball is at the feet of Aguerd on that left hand side of the defence. Plays in towards Edson Alvarez, and back it goes again to Aguerd, left foot sweeping, long ball deep into the Arsenal territory, and unaware really of the positioning of Paquetá or what was inside him. Kyrgios heads out for a throw in on that far side, and West Ham will just take their time over this into the last 5 minutes of the first half we go, and they're leading by a goal to 0. Been a good cup tie for me, Mark, at the moment.
Yeah, definitely, man. And the only thing we haven't really seen is any decent end product, certainly from Arsenal. They've had some really good chances, got themselves in some good positions, some good deliveries into the box, free headers. They just haven't been able to control it.
Cross comes Zinchenko to cover for Arsenal, under pressure there from Sofal, and the ball goes out of play gently for a goal kick to Arsenal away to my right hand side then, and it'll be taken by Aaron Ramsdale. As we have a look there at the Arsenal bench, and again the camera closes in on Declan Rice. Around him on that bench, strong Saliba, Saka, Odegaard, Martinelli, Cedric, who hasn't had much game time, Tomiyasu, score at the weekend, El Neni just back in the side or around the fringes of the side, and Declan himself sitting down. That's a strong bench. Arsenal cleared away. They'll need those substitutes perhaps early, and they thought they're trailing 1-0. They haven't had a rhythm in the game. Trossard back to Gabriel inside their own half, finds Jorginho, who as he spun drew the foul from Bowen, who rather clumsily bundled him from behind, and that's going to be a free kick for Arsenal then, with how long we got, Mark? 3.5 minutes in this first half on 5 line.
Yeah, we do. And I mean, West Ham have done really well in this first half of hustling Arsenal when they're on the ball. They've not made it easy for Arsenal to play out the back. At times Arsenal just looked really uncomfortable trying to play the ball out, and that's mostly down to the fact that West Ham have been very well organised and just put them under so much pressure.
1-0 in the Carabao Cup. FA Cup is back live on BBC TV this week, and a lovely moment this week. I'm doing Sheffield United against Walsall on Friday for what's called the World Feed. It's the commentary that goes around the world to the English-speaking nations, and I spoke to a lovely lad called Lee Allen at Sheffield, who does a lot of things. He's their analyst, analyst. He does the press. He's their kit man as well, and I phoned him up and he said, "Who are you doing it for?" And I said, "The World Feed." I said, "Sheffield United go global on Friday, Lee," and his voice at the other end of the phone was just magnificently magical. He couldn't quite believe that Sheppey were going global. If the weather allows it, if the storm comes in, by the way, the Isle of Sheppey could float off somewhere in the North Sea. You never know if you know that particular part of Kent. Well, all the best to them down there. What a night it will be for them. Sheffield United against Walsall. I hope they thoroughly enjoy it down there. Well, Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1 is the scoreline coming in from the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen leading through McGrath on 26 minutes there. Celtic 1-1 with St Mirren. Dundee Rangers delayed. St Johnstone 2-up against Kilmarnock. Hearts 0, Livingston 0. The scores then from Scotland for you. 1-0 here to West Ham United, who have possession with Paquetá wearing some sort of bandage on that left arm again. He's given it away with a floaty, careless ball, and Zinchenko is there, deflects it away off Kudus, who's also got a bandage, wrist bandage on that left wrist. Hasn't got going yet, Mohamed Kudus. If he scores tonight, it'll be 50 in his career. The man who tried to force a move to Everton, you'll remember, from Ajax, but he's here now in London. Had a good World Cup, didn't he, with his country, Ghana. And Arsenal in possession inside their centre circle, just rolling the ball out of the centre circle. Right hand side is the big defender Kirill. Back it goes to Gabriel. Kirill has it again, looking what's on for him. He strokes a left-footed blue boot at it, plays away towards the right fullback, and it comes inside again. Jorginho finds Zinchenko in support again. Zinchenko in that central midfield position as he angles a pass to Trossard. They're quickly getting two players always to double up. That's what Kudus has done well to help out so far, but they bypassed Kudus. Arsenal still in possession. Havertz into Trossard, just outside the penalty area, tried to thread the eye of a needle really, and it hit a West Ham boot, ricochets back to the Belgian international, plays back out to Jorginho. Arsenal trailing 1-0 in the last minute of the half, but they have possession between the penalty area and the left touchline with tall, upright, dark-haired Havertz, and he plays it then towards Gabriel, who tumbles under a fair challenge, wasn't strong enough, and West Ham can break, and over the halfway line Bowen has it, and Ben Rama's on the far side to take on Ben White if it comes out to him, but they doubled up on Bowen there, Arsenal, and they will clear it away here now. Kirill got the clearance neatly, actually tucked down the line to Zinchenko, and Arsenal will play out from the back. We've got a goal, Chelsea Blackburn. John Southall.
Chelsea have the goal, Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0. It was coming. Benoit Badiashile, first start of the season, corner wasn't cleared, there he was, 10 yards out. Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0.
Can they go on and win this competition for a sixth time? I think it is. Blackburn won it all the way back in 1992. Robbie Savage's side, I think, won it there. Connie McLaughlin has another update. Is it an upset, Connie, at Celtics and Mirren?
Well, it depends how you look at it. From a Celtic point of view, maybe. They just had a penalty awarded after a handball. David Turnbull stepped up to double his lead and put Celtic ahead. It hit the post. The rebound was then saved by the St Mirren goalkeeper, Zach Hemmings. So this could be the shot in the arm that St Mirren need to go on and press on in this game. But as it stands, 30 minutes on the clock, it's Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
Missed spot opportunity for Celtic there. West Ham 1, Arsenal could go to spot kicks here tonight. What's happening at the Vitality? Bournemouth against Liverpool. Sohail Sahi.
Liverpool have taken the lead. It's Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1 from a corner which was cleared initially. It was driven back in. It fell to Gakpo 6 yards out. He pirouetted and slammed it home. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1.
Liverpool winners, well, they've won this competition 9 times, and for a little while they bossed this competition very much as Manchester City have in recent seasons. Paquetá went down here for West Ham. It's a free kick for them just inside their own half. Got a little bit scrappy. We're 1 minute into 2 minutes of stoppage time. Much gone a little bit bitty now, hasn't it?
Yeah, a little bit scrappy. It was a foul. It was a raised foot from Kai Havertz, but there was, Paquetá went down very quickly, clutching his leg even though there was no contact.
Arsenal have a throw deep inside their own half. Zinchenko with the buzz short haircut plays it infield to Jorginho, then Gabriel strokes a pass to his goalkeeper Ramsdale. Big ooze from the West Ham fan as he goes to kick it away downfield, and then Nketiah tries to roll off the defender Mavropanos. Behind him is Sohail to clear. Halfway line, back to goal, trying to hold it up is Kudus, and he's done very well to slip a ball infield to Alvarez. Ripple of applause for Mohamed Kudus. He's an electrifying player, can get fans on the edge of their seat. They want to see more of him here in the starting lineup. He's only had one start for West Ham in the league as the half-time whistle blows here. West Ham leading it with an own goal by White. Ben White and Arsenal, when it looked as clear as day that Aaron Ramsdale had been fouled in there. His shirt had been pulled. The referee didn't see it. There's no VAR. Arsenal had the better chances since. Headers from Havertz and White in particular, dangerous in set pieces. But Mark, overall, it's West Ham United who are holding on by 1 goal to nil.
Yeah, reasonably comfortable. When you say holding on, I don't even see them really holding on. I find that they've kind of been pretty much in control of the game to large degrees. Yes, Arsenal have had chances, half chances, just haven't been accurate enough, haven't been able to get a shot on goal.
1-0 it is, Crossy at half-time here to West Ham.
Thank you very much, chaps. We'll be back for second half commentary here on 5 Live. West Ham leading Arsenal by 1-0, and then we'll take second half commentary on 5 Live of Manchester United versus Newcastle. It has started on 5 Sports Extra, and Gary Flintoff has the latest.
And we played 2 minutes, just shy of 3 minutes in fact, Steve, but we've hardly had any play because Newcastle, who've made 8 changes tonight, are about to make another one because Matt Targett has pulled his right hamstring in a challenge, so he's been down on the turf. He's about to come off, so another change required by Eddie Howe. They're just trying to decide who's going to replace him, in all honesty. A reminder, 7 changes for Manchester United this evening. There is a great following from the northeast. We've seen no football so far. It's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0.
Thank you very much, Gary. And I can see that it is going to be Miguel Almiron coming on. So the Newcastle fans who've turned up in Hawaiian shirts with Almiron's face printed on them that I just saw in the crowd will be very happy indeed. Let's go back to the Vitality Stadium. A Liverpool fans still enjoying themselves. Sahel Sahi.
Yes, they are, Steve. We've played 33 minutes here. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1. The goal coming from a corner after 31 minutes. It was cleared initially. It fell to Harvey Elliott. He took a shot from the edge of the area. It was helped on by Gakpo. Good save initially from Radu, but it fell to Gakpo once again 6 yards out, and he couldn't miss. Bournemouth have had decent chances. Justin Kluivert producing a save out of Kelleher, and then Billing Semenyo linking up for Christie. He wasted the chance from the edge of the area, and then Kluivert putting through Kirkes. His shot was straight at Kelleher. Not a good finishing from Bournemouth. The end product is missing from the home side. It's Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1.
Let's find out if that Chelsea goal has proved a catalyst for anything more. They're at home to Blackburn Rovers. John Southall.
Well, we shall see, Steve. It's Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0. The goal, a really poor one for Blackburn to give away. It came from a corner into Gallagher. His cross was flapped up by Wallstead. Blackburn's Swedish goalkeeper punched it straight to Benoit Badiashile, who finished from 10 yards out. James, Fernandez, Gallagher all went close before that goal, and Raheem Sterling's had a very plausible penalty claim turned away as well. Blackburn, Andy Moran denied by Sanchez at the near post. That's probably their best moments of the game. It's a strong Chelsea 11 tonight, and they lead Blackburn by a goal to 0.
Actually, all the 7:45 kickoffs are currently 1-0, including the game at Goodison. John Bennett.
Yes, Everton with the only goal in this one. Everton 1, Burnley 0. It's a Burnley old boy with the goal. James Tarkowski, really good header. Cross on the left-hand side. He jumped. No one else seemed to jump. The goalkeeper didn't even move as the ball hit the back of the net. Since then, Everton have had the best chances. Amadou Onana should really have made it 2-0, missing a near open goal after the goalkeeper Muric had spilt across. But Burnley have had some good moments as well without really testing the goalkeeper Jordan Pickford. Everton 1, Burnley 0.
Ipswich got off to a nightmare start against Fulham. Let's find out if it's improved for them. Flo Pollock.
Ipswich 0, Fulham 1 still, and Fulham on top, the Premier League side looking the better side really. A nice goal from Harry Wilson, but you do have to question why Ipswich left him so much space. Fulham hit the post with a deflected shot. Ipswich did have a good chance. A Fulham goalkeeper made a mistake, passed it straight to Caden Jackson, who couldn't finish. Fulham on top at the moment, Steve, and it's Ipswich 0, Fulham 1.
To the 7:45 kickoffs in the Scottish Premiership. Celtic Park, Connie McLaughlin.
It's still Celtic 1, St Mirren 1 at the moment, Steve, and Celtic missed that penalty a couple of minutes ago. And you know, sometimes when that happens, there's a bit of a momentum shift, and it looks as though it's given St Mirren a little bit of energy. They do not seem fazed by being here inside Celtic Park. Greg Kilty just fired a shot right across the face of goal there, but Callum McGregor had to scramble it behind for a corner. So we've got about 8 or so minutes left plus stoppage time on this one, and it seems to be St Mirren who are on the ascendancy. Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
Speaking of sparking a change, St Johnstone have at no stage this season had a 2-0 lead. They've only once had a 1-0 lead, and in his first game back as temporary manager, Alec Cleland has them 2-0 up against Kilmarnock, the league's bottom side. They'd still be bottom even if they do go on to get the 3 points. Nicky Clark has scored twice. It's St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 0. It's Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 1, Hearts 0, Livingston 0. Dundee versus Rangers, remember, because of big traffic problems outside Dens Park, won't get underway until 8:30. And in League One, Promise Omachere's first goal of the season and a second from Jack Marriott means it's Fleetwood Town 2, Blackpool 0. That would be enough to lift Fleetwood out of the relegation zone. 37 minutes gone in that one. Right, we'll be back with more, including second half commentary from the London Stadium after the news with Dan Maudsley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Good evening. The Foreign Office says the first British nationals have crossed the Rafah border out of Gaza and into Egypt. Civilians have been allowed out of the territory for the first time since fighting between Israel and Hamas began last month. More than 300 foreign passport holders have arrived in Egypt, as well as 70 injured Palestinians. President Biden has just been speaking about the situation during a visit to Minnesota.
We've worked so closely with us to support negotiations to facilitate the departure of these citizens. At the same time, we're continuing working to significantly step up the flow of critical humanitarian assistance in Gaza. The number of trucks entering Gaza continues to increase significantly, but we still have a long way to go.
Officials in Kyiv say Russia has shelled 118 Ukrainian towns and villages in the past 24 hours, more than on any other day this year. They say 10 regions in the country have come under attack, resulting in deaths and injuries. A former senior civil servant has told the COVID inquiry there wasn't a single day during the pandemic when lockdown rules were followed properly in Number 10. Helen McNamara, who used to be Deputy Cabinet Secretary, also said she warned other top officials at the start of the crisis that there was no plan to deal with the disease, that the country was heading for disaster. Rishi Sunak has said companies creating artificial intelligence can't be allowed to determine how safe their products are. The Prime Minister was speaking at the start of a global summit on AI at the Bletchley Park Code-Breaking Museum in Buckinghamshire. In London, the US Vice President Kamala Harris urged governments around the world to come up with a strategy to tackle the risks posed by artificial intelligence.
From AI-enabled cyber attacks at a scale beyond anything we've seen before, to AI-formulated bioweapons. These threats are often referred to as the existential threats of AI, because, of course, they could endanger the very existence of humanity. These threats, without question, demand global action.
And the Met Office has issued yellow warnings for wind and rain this evening in much of southern England and Wales as Storm Ciarán hits. Those warnings will be extended from early tomorrow to north-east England and eastern Scotland. A red warning for wind is in place for the Channel Islands, where conditions are expected to be the worst since the Great Storm of 1987.
The Planet Earth podcast on BBC Sounds.
There's not an easy animal at all.
You don't know where the lions are, they're all around, you can hear roaring and it's pitch black.
For nearly 20 years, the BBC has brought you the celebrated series Planet Earth. Now, hear personal stories from the people who created these landmark documentaries, including Sir David Attenborough.
And you do have a responsibility if you care tuppence about the natural world and its riches.
The Planet Earth podcast.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
On 5 Live. Listen on BBC Sounds.
It's a big night in the League Cup and the Scottish Premiership. No changes to the scores in the last couple of minutes whilst we were with the news. We'll be back at the London Stadium for second half commentary of West Ham versus Arsenal shortly. West Ham leading by 1-0. Remember, quarter-final places at stake tonight. Elsewhere, South Africa hammered New Zealand by 190 runs at the Cricket World Cup. Quinton de Kock made his 4th century of the tournament in a total of 357 for 4. New Zealand were bowled out for 167 in 36 overs. Meanwhile, David Willey has announced he's retiring from international cricket after the World Cup. He was the only member of the squad not awarded a central contract last week. Here's the former England captain Michael Vaughan.
He's been England's best player in the last 3 games, but it was 2 weeks ago that he went down to breakfast and realised that he's the only person. England have given out 29 contracts and he wasn't worthy of a 1-year contract, which I found staggering that you've got a player playing in the World Cup. There's a T20 World Cup in a few months' time. And even if you're thinking at this stage that David Willey's not going to be in the 15 for the T20 World Cup, you can't tell me he's probably an injury away from being in that 15. So surely you want to be looking after someone like David Willey. I just feel, 2019 he was the one to miss out for Jofra Archer. But I think the way that he's been treated in this World Cup has been disgraceful.
There's more from Michael Vaughan on the TMS Daily podcast and about that story on the BBC Sport website. By the way, Bazball has been officially recognised with its inclusion in the Collins Online Dictionary, defined as a style of Test cricket in which the batting side attempts to gain the initiative by playing in a highly aggressive manner. The hosts and favourites, India, take on Sri Lanka at the Wankhede Stadium in Mumbai. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra and BBC Sounds tomorrow morning from 8:15. There's also in-play video highlights on the BBC Sport website and app. At the Paris Masters, Novak Djokovic has won his first match as he aims to get the world number 1 spot back from Carlos Alcaraz. Earlier, Daniil Medvedev lost to Grigor Dimitrov and was then seen to give the middle finger to the crowd, although he did say in the press conference afterwards he was just checking a broken nail. Weren't we all? Let's go back to Old Trafford. Gary Flintoff.
Well, we've played 13 minutes, Steve. It's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 0, and in all honesty, neither side has really settled. We've had one shot on target, that was from Casemiro. You would have expected the goalkeeper Martin Dubravka to make the save, and he did. But you have to feel sorry for Matt Targett. A rare start for the fullback. He limped off after only 3 minutes played. And in all honesty, 2 minutes of that, he was spent on his backside on the Old Trafford turf. It's 0-0.
Gary, we were sort of speculating beforehand. Would the closest that Newcastle have to a striker tonight be Anthony Gordon? Is that how it's looking?
Yeah, Anthony Gordon is certainly the player that you would suggest is trying to occupy Victor Lindelof and Harry Maguire. Hasn't really got into the game as yet, in truth, but that can be said of quite a number of those in black and white, and indeed in red and white so far.
Thank you, Gary. Let's go back to the Vitality Stadium. Bournemouth against Liverpool. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, 2 minutes of the first half to play here, Steve. Still Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1. Cody Gakpo with the goal just past the half-hour mark. Since you were with me last, Antoine Semenyo with an left-footed strike from the edge of the area. Decent save from Kelleher. The weather is definitely playing a part here. Storm Kieran has come across the south coast and the rain is swirling and it's sweeping across. It's really playing a part on the football match in front of us, Steve. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1.
Yeah, you can really hear it whipping across the microphones, can't you? Let's go back to Stamford Bridge. Chelsea against Blackburn Rovers of the Championship. John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0. 2 minutes of added time. The board has just gone up, and another controversial moment. A possible penalty this time for Blackburn Rovers as Jackson loses the ball in the penalty area. Callum Britton crossed from the right hand side. Gallagher was turning, had his back turned to it, but his arm was up and it hit the arm, and the penalty not given. Remember, Sterling had one not given earlier in the half. No VAR tonight. Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0.
Any sign of Burnley recovering against Everton at Goodison? John Bennett.
Yeah, Goodison Park's gone a bit quiet, Steve, because Burnley have had some decent spells. Everton 1, Burnley 0. As it's Everton on the attack here, Harrison on the right hand side will have a chance to get a cross in. They've pushed and probed Burnley without really testing Jordan Pickford in the Everton goal. That will frustrate Vincent Kompany because they have been in decent areas, but the final ball, the final cross, the final shots really letting them down at the moment. We've got 1 minute to go until half time. Everton 1, Burnley 0.
Back to Portman Road. Ipswich of the Championship against Fulham. Flo Pollock.
Ipswich 0, Fulham 1. Fulham nearly doubled their lead just now, though. Calvin Bassey wildly swung at the ball in the box, hit the goalkeeper off the post, and now Ipswich escape. Ipswich 0, Fulham 1.
Must be approaching half-time at Celtic Park in the Scottish Premiership. St Mirren the visitors. Connie McLaughlin.
It is. We've got 10 seconds left of the regulated time. Just an opportunity there. Celtic have been swarming forward in the last 5 minutes or so. Lewis Palmer with the best of the chances there, just pushing against Zach Hemmings, but could not find the way past them. No sign of the board. In fact, I say that, no sign of the board, Steve, as the board just goes up 3 minutes additional time in this first half. It's Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
And we're finally about to get underway at Downs Park. Jane Lewis.
We are at long last. Kick-off is coming up. Delayed, remember, due to Rangers team bus being stuck in traffic, but both teams are out on the pitch and kick-off is about to get underway. And the visitors will come here in fairly confident mood. So far, Rangers, under their new manager Philippe Clement, have won 2 from 2 in the league, and with Celtic drawing at Celtic Park, that might just give them an added boost. But Downs Park is proving a bit of a tricky place for teams to visit. Dundee have not lost at home all season in all competitions. Dundee against Rangers is coming up. They're about to kick off.
Other scores: Hearts 0, Livingston 0, Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 2, St Johnstone bottom of the table 2, Kilmarnock 0. We are just about to get our first half time at the Vitality. Sahel Sahi.
Yeah, Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1. Liverpool with the only goal after a corner which was cleared by Bournemouth's defence, only for Harvey Elliott to send a shot goalwards, which was partially saved by Radu, the Bournemouth goalkeeper. Gakpo, he was quickest onto the loose ball to score. Bournemouth, they've been wasteful with Cliver, Christie, Kirkes and Semenyo all having chances. Half-time here, Steve. Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1.
And it's still Fleetwood 2, Blackpool 0 in League 1. So choice of listening: Manchester United 0, Newcastle 0. Commentary on 5 Sports Extra. And here on 5 Live, the second half of West Ham against Arsenal with David Moyes' side 1-0 in front. Mark Schwarzer is with Jonathan Pearce.
Thank you very much, Steve. Well, it's Arsenal who will get us off and underway in the second half, trailing by a goal to 0, with its proud record in this competition, of course, having reached round 5 in the last 6 seasons. Last time they failed to reach that stage, the quarterfinals, was 15-16. And off we go, Arsenal in the lurid yellow shirts with the black squiggles and the black shorts, and West Ham United in the claret and blue, defending the goal away to our right-hand side. Behind them, the Arsenal fans in the upper tier, and there's a Trevor Brookins stand, but it's West Ham who attack the other goal right now, and Paqueta making inroads into the Arsenal half and finds Bowen inside the penalty area. His shot is parried by Ramsdale and scooted away off the line by Ben White, and that's a dramatic start to the second half.
Yeah, very dramatic, almost straight from the kick-off there. West Ham do really well to win the long high ball from Aaron Ramsdale, and the turn of attack is really quick. Bowen has a great chance, makes a really good run off the shoulder. Ramsdale comes out and closes the angle down, stays really big and gets a fingertip touch on the ball and prevents her from going to the back of the net, and it's a really good clearance again in the end from Ben White.
Big moment that for Ramsdale as well, as Emerson takes the corner for West Ham, hooking away, and Souček rose unmarked worryingly for Arsenal and headed wide.
Yeah, it's been poor from both sides really, from defensive situations, corners, free kicks. There's been numerous times where they've had free headers in the box there. Souček had a really good chance. It was just the delivery that was possibly a little bit beyond him, and he couldn't get up high enough. Just seeing the replay from the save again from Ramsdale, it's a really good save.
West Ham with Fabianski in goal, no changes by the way to either side at half time. So Foul, Mavropanos, Aged and Emerson the back four, Souček and Alvarez tucked in, Bowen and Paqueta, Ben Rama on the left supporting, or rather Kudus on the right hand side, Bowen the furthest forward West Ham player through the middle. Paqueta has noticeably got in support in this second half as well. Arsenal with Ramsdale in goal, and you've got White, Kirill, Gabriel and Zinchenko, who doesn't really play as a left back, Vieira and Jorginho, and then the three supporting players are Nelson, Havertz and Trossard, and Eddie Nketiah is through the middle. Half-time Chelsea against Blackburn. John Southall.
Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0. Unlike on Saturday, Chelsea have made their first half dominance count. Benoit Badiashile with the goal, but the Blackburn keeper Woolstead will not want to see it again. He pushed it straight to Badiashile, 10 yards out. He finished it off. Both sides have had very strong penalty claims turned down, and Andy Moran just before half-time shot wide. Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0.
And half-time for Everton, twice runners-up in the competition against Burnley. Here's John Bennett.
Everton 1, Burnley 0. James Tarkowski with the only goal against his former club. An excellent header, but Burnley did enough just before half-time to suggest that it will be a competitive second half. Everton 1, Burnley 0.
18 years since Fulham were in the quarter-finals. They led at Ipswich the last time we heard from Flo Pollock.
Half-time, Ipswich 0, Fulham 1, Fulham controlling this tie. Harry Wilson scoring the only goal of the game. Ipswich are playing a second-string team though. Will they bring on the big guns after the break? At the break there was Ipswich, who trail Fulham by 0-0.
Not missed anything here, it's still 0-1. West Ham United leading Arsenal 1-0, I should say. Let's go to Celtic against St Mirren then, and Connie McLaughlin.
Half-time, Celtic 1, St Mirren 1, all square in Glasgow. Conor McMenamin's goal for Saints was cancelled out by David Turnbull, who's back in the Celtic 11, but Turnbull squandered the chance to put Celtic ahead when he missed a penalty. At half-time it is, Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
From Glasgow to Dens Park went Rangers. They got there belatedly because there was traffic problems. That has kicked off no goals, but Aberdeen are now 2 up at Motherwell. Devlin getting the second to add to the earlier goal by McGrath. 1-0 here to West Ham. Arsenal have a free kick. It's 18, 24, 30, 36, 38 yards out from goal. Crude mathematics done by the alternate strips of light and dark green turf, which are each 6 metres wide, and it's going to be you didn't want to know that anyway, but there you are. I'll tell you anyway. Jorginho finds Zinchenko and wide to the left-hand touchline. He touches it out then to Trossard. In front of him is Kudus. He's nutmegged him to find Zinchenko. The ball ricochets away. No change there for Arsenal once again. Vieira couldn't make anything of it. West Ham clear, and they get a free kick given to them by the referee. That's Simon Hooper, the big talking point of the game. That Ben White own goal that separates the two sides when it was clearly a foul on Aaron Ramsdale. No VAR in the competition at this stage does come in the Carabao semi-finals, which seems iniquitous, but there you are, them's the rules. And on another day we would be talking about why VAR didn't pick it up. It's quite refreshing that we're not, to be honest. Now a long ball up from the left full-back position for West Ham. That's a brilliant ball into the box. Well taken now by Kudus. Sweeps the shot in. Brilliant goal. Brilliant goal. West Ham United lead 2-0. Sensational.
Yeah, it's a great diagonal ball into the box. Kudus does really well. His first touch is excellent. Pulls it back onto his left foot. Just opens up the goal, and he picks the bottom left-hand corner. And it's a really good finish. Gives Aaron Ramsdale very little chance in the goal.
What a pass out to him. from the halfway line, 50, 60 yards on the right corner of the box. Kudus took it down with one sweet moment off the outside of his left foot, came inside, took 2 steps inside and swept it beyond Ramsdale. And West Ham United here are in a magnificent position against Arsenal. 2 goals to the good.
Yeah, Kudus does really well. It's on his left foot. He takes the first touch, sort of almost the outside of his left foot, puts it back further over to his left. He's able to swing his leg around it and finds that far post. It's a really good finish.
And it's his 50th club career goal. Those turquoise boots a blur as he rushed through the ball with his left foot and put it into the bottom corner kick. West Ham, with 1 win in 16 meetings against Arsenal, are 2-0 up. They've only met 3 times in this competition. In the quarter-final in 17, Arsenal won 1-0. They won in January 98, 2-1 at the Boleyn Ground. And in January 67, West Ham United won away 3-1. It's been a long time waiting win in this competition for West Ham against Arsenal. Paqueta hurdles a challenge from Jorginho and looks for Kudus, and just inside him Zinchenko got a desperate touch. Arsenal have it back inside their own half with Reece Nelson trying to make up some ground. They had more of the ball in the first half, but they were well short of their best. Passing quality was not up to Arsenal's standard, and they've got a mountain to climb here now. Can they do it with Trossard, who's been by and large quiet? Left-hand side finds Havertz coming in off the line. Havertz rolls it to Jorginho, pokes it back to Havertz, spins on the ball, and the drive across the penalty area lacked conviction, lacked power, and trickles away for a goal kick.
Yeah, it's a really good move down the left-hand side from Arsenal. They're good interplay. Jorginho, Havertz just turns on it and whips the ball across to the near post, across the face of the goal. It's just, you can see Nketiah puts his hands on his head. He knows he's a little bit slow in trying to make that reaction. It was a really dangerous area. Fabianski had no chance to come out and clear the ball, and unfortunately for Arsenal, it becomes wasteful.
Arsenal need a lift. We've just seen a camera cutaway of Declan Rice down there in the dugout. He seemed to be doing something with his socks, his playing kit, and will he provide the lift, having played 245 games as a West Ham United player and lifting the trophy, the Europa League Conference Trophy, last spring. It would be his first appearance back here, and he's already had a tremendous reception in just warming up. Imagine the noise when he comes on. They still love him here. They love Naivaga, and it's a neat, nimble turn infield of Nketiah as he cleared it away. West Ham have it on 5 line, leading by 2 goals to 0 now. Emerson runs beyond. Paqueta, lovely ball, played forward to him with delicacy and precision, and Emerson's cross looked for Bowen, and it's cleared away desperately by Zinchenko, and Vieira takes a touch on. It's a strong challenge by Paqueta, who's driving the show now. There's no mistaking that. Paqueta has it back again, broad-shouldered. Lucas Paqueta plays back then to the halfway line, back towards Paqueta. Then he settles for a West Ham United throw down on this near side. Lucas Paqueta from Guanabara Bay in Rio de Janeiro, and on that little island where he comes from there's a sort of an animal, and the name of the animal is Paqueta, and that's where he gets his name from. His nickname, if you like a lot of Brazilian players go by. Now Ben White has it. White between the touchline and the penalty area, and it's cleared away by Arsenal. Long raking clearance across their own penalty area. I think we got an update from Dundee Rangers here from Jane Lewis.
Yeah, would you believe there's been another delay here? No sooner were the players on the pitch and kick-off was underway than behind the goal where Jack Butland is housed, the Rangers fans behind that goal let off a lot of flares. It caused a bit of mayhem. The police were down there as they were making sure everyone was safe. When the flares started to go out, it caused a lot of smoke, as you can imagine. We thought that was why there was a delay, but now the players are off the pitch. Both sets of players are off the pitch, as are the management teams, as are the officials, because the fire alarms are going off inside Dens Park. It is one mad night here in Dundee, I have to say. Still no action.
Well, I've just seen a picture on social media of that the Dens Park, the stand where the flares went off, and it's alarming to say the least. Why take them into ground? You could suffer, others could suffer, and your football club could definitely suffer. I was on commentary duty the other night, Marseille against Lyon, when that game was postponed because of crowd trouble, and the Lyon bus was attacked on the way in. Let's hope that fan trouble does not arrive back in European football in force with the European Championships. Just, what is it now, 8 months away, something like that in Germany. Now here's Zinchenko for Arsenal. By the way, if you are travelling for games in the next 48, 72 hours or so, please take care, because this storm sweeping in will make driving conditions very, very difficult. Arsenal have possession, and it's Gabriel on the ball, 5 yards inside his own half. West Ham 2, Arsenal 0. On Sports Extra, Manchester United Newcastle, and that game will follow on 5 Live when we're finished here. White, a good run infield by Havertz, opened up a gap to Trossard. The ball hung a long time lazily in the air and wouldn't come down to. West Ham have regrouped, got set defensively, but Arsenal trying to break through their lines, looking for Havertz and stepping across. It's Kostas Mavropanos, who's played very well. Looks for Kudus, who got the second goal. Loses possession to Zinchenko. Arsenal with that strong bench, they could call on, let's say, a Saka or an Odegaard or a Martinelli. They need something, because that ball has trickled away and out of play for a goal kick, and a rousing reception for Declan Rice as he warms up. And let's go to Old Trafford. There's been a goal here then for Gary Flintoff.
And there was 7,000 in black and white, Jonathan, are on their feet dancing away because Miguel Almiron has put Newcastle in front. Great run by Tino Livramento down the right, and the ball was played into Almiron, and he finished so well past Onana. Newcastle deserve this. They lead Manchester United by 1-0.
Arsenal are going to make substitutions, and Declan Rice is going to come on to the ground where he was. Listen to this. That's the welcome for Declan Rice as he comes on to the football field. Tomiyasu has also come on for Arsenal. Zinchenko has gone off, and I think Jorginho was the other to depart. He was indeed. He sits down and grimaces in that technical area down there, takes his place in the Arsenal dugout. What do you make of the substitutions, Mark?
Well, I think he definitely needed to make some changes, Mikel Arteta, and I think Jorginho was struggling in midfield there really to get any sort of foothold in the game.
West Ham immediately threatened with Bowen through the middle, backed up by Kudus. It's turned away by Tomiyasu once again. Press ganged into left full-back action. A pass into the penalty area, overstruck by Paqueta and picked up by Ramsey. But otherwise, Paqueta's had a very strong second half, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. I think he's overall had a good game. He's been one that's very difficult on the ball to knock off the ball. He's been at the heart of every movement that West Ham have had so far in this game.
Zinchenko trudges a weary way around the perimeter of the pitch. He's behind the West Ham goal right now before he takes his place in the dugout, being heartily booed by the West Ham fans as he trudges along that line, applauds the Arsenal supporters who still have their belief at 2-0 down. But that's another wayward Arsenal forward ball. This time it was by Declan Rice, and it's gone out of play for a goal kick. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 1, Bournemouth 0, Liverpool 1, Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0, Everton lead Burnley by a goal to 0. Fulham are 1-0 up at Ipswich in Scotland in the Premiership. Celtic 1, St Mirren 1, 0-0 Dundee Rangers. Another delay there, Hearts 0, Livingston 0, Motherwell 0, Aberdeen 2, McGrath and Devlin, St Johnson lead Kilmarnock by 2 goals 0-2 for Clark, and Fleetwood in League 1 are 2-0 up against Blackpool. They're the scores on the doors for you right now on 5 Live. 58 gone at the London Stadium, brimful of atmosphere, and it's West Ham United who lead this game by 2 goals to 0. Powerful header forward though by the reaching figure of Jakub Kiwior, the big Polish defender. Plays the ball back into the West Ham half, where it's cleared by the excellent Agard. Up to Bowen. Bowen touches it off to Paqueta. Another measured ball slipped down the line, and across the halfway line goes Emerson, the broad-shouldered, short-sleeved Brazilian defender, and he plays it inside. Rice picks it up once again for West Ham and nudges the ball for Arsenal, I should say there. Declan Rice nudges the ball out wide. My memory was playing time tricks on me there. Declan Rice of Arsenal now, of course. Still a little bit difficult to think of. West Ham fans will think. He's plodding through the centre circle now as Arsenal push out wide. To the left, 2-0 down. Look for Havertz, not strong enough. Not strong enough as the ball was played up to him, and he was dispossessed and could have set sail over the halfway line. Finds Bowen. It was not the best of pass, lacked a little bit of zip, but Bowen turns it on then to the marauding Sofao. Right fullback in comes across. White ducks, dives, heads it away. Bowen strikes. It's 3. And Aaron Ramsdale will not look back on that with glory. Bowen's shot had power. The rain is tumbling down. It would not have made conditions easy for a goalkeeper, but it squirmed through his hands. It's in the back of the net. It's West Ham 3, Arsenal 0, and not a great return for Aaron Ramsdale. The first goal should have been chalked off for a foul on him. And let's look at this one. Was he at fault for the third?
No, I don't think he is actually. I think it takes a big deflection in front of him. I think it's Curaçao right in front of him, stands right in the path of the shot. As the ball pops out at the edge of the box for Jarrod Bowen, he lines up his shot. Yeah, it comes off the thigh of Curaçao and then just flicks past Aaron Ramsdale. Very difficult to react. You see Curaçao's only about 7-8 yards away from him, so it's very little time for him to react.
Couldn't react in time, but could do very little about it. I don't think Arsenal will blame Aaron Ramsdale for that horrible deflection. He looks anguished in there, because what he certainly didn't want on his return to first team action for the first time since September the 27th was to concede 3 goals. The second was a lovely goal by Kudus. The third, well, Arsenal will see that as a bit unfortunate. The first should have been struck off, but whatever, they're 3-0 down with precious little sign of them threatening the West Ham goal.
Yeah, very much so. And West Ham have deserved this. They've been a lot better. First half, they rode their luck at times, but they've defended well. They hassled and hustled Arsenal very well as they tried to play out at the back. And second half just started very, very well, very strongly, and have been clinical in front of goal.
Referee's playing on here. Tomiyasu left the foot in and caught Kudus. Referee said go on, and West Ham have it with so far stroking the ball infield, and Bowen couldn't keep that in play. Well, this normally does not happen, as West Ham fans will tell you, against Arsenal. Last season here they were 2-0 down in 10 minutes to Jesus and Odegaard in the Premier League and drew 2-2. Bowen got the equaliser that day. Away though, they lost by 3-1, and it has been a normal sorry tale for West Ham United against Arsenal. This will be their biggest win in this competition against the Gunners, as Emerson has possession, central midfield, plumb dead centre of the pitch, halfway inside the Arsenal half, out wide then to the right hand side, and Souček plays back into the centre circle. Agad has it. Agad to the left side of the defence for West Ham United. Alvarez plays back then to Agad 20 yards away, and he lets it slip through to Łukasz Fabianski, who has had very little to do in comparison to his opposite number. His diagonal ball out to the right touchline is headed infield then for West Ham United accurately by so far, and Kudus is juggling with it. A little bit showboaty. West Ham fans don't mind. Loving it would be their phrase. 3-0 up with 62 gone.
Yeah, they're in total control of the game right now. West Ham 3-0 up. They can take their time with things. They can slow things down a bit, maintain possession, make Arsenal come out of them, make Arsenal try and put pressure on them, and with that they're going to create gaps for West Ham to try and hit them on the counter again.
Here's Fabio Vieira. Had a quiet night, the 23-year-old Portuguese under-21 international. Has possession, finds on that left-hand side Tomiyasu, back in field to Declan Rice, picks up possession. Rice, who left West Ham for Arsenal in a very dignified way. We were talking about it earlier on in the show, and I think that's why his legacy will endure. And the referee has stopped things for a bit of treatment here, because Bowen has he got a trickle of blood on that thigh?
No, he's got a cut on his head.
Oh, on his head. We're a long way away from the pitch. Not much difference between a head and a thigh, but
no, but he was actually he was pointing towards his thigh as well, so I think maybe, I don't know, I'm sure if he's got a knock or anything, but he's certainly got a cut just above his eye.
He goes down when he treatment, can't continue with blood on your face. Martinelli's warming up for Arsenal, and Gary Flintoff's got more news from Old Trafford.
And a second goal for Newcastle United, and the away fans, Jonathan, are taunting Erik ten Hag with chance of you getting sacked in the morning, and it's because a great shot from the edge of the penalty area from Lewis Hall has found its way through a group of defenders and past Andre Onana into the back of the goal. We've only played 36 minutes, but it's Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2.
What a state that football club is in. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2. One of the first League Cup ties I ever remember seeing was going across Bristol from the Ashton Gate side to Eastville and seeing the Charlton Best Law side come down and play Bristol Rovers in a League Cup tie. What a moment that was for a young boy of 7 or 8 as I was at that time. And it's going to be a corner kick here for Arsenal, but before we have it, we'll go to Goodison. Everton against Burnley and John Bennett.
Everton 1, Burnley 0. Strong start to the second half by Everton. They had the ball in the back of the net, disallowed though Dominic Calvert-Lewin with a push on Dara O'Shea. Everton 1, Burnley 0.
Martinelli and Saka are coming on for Arsenal right now. Have a corner. It's something of a rarity. I think it's only their second corner of the game. It'll be taken on the far side from us. Reece Nelson will take it. They've got 4 at the far post. Gabriel is in there calling for it. He wants some sort of leadership here, a decision making for some reason or another. He now goes near post Gabriel. It's aimed at the far, looking for Nketiah. Fabianski gets a good claw on it. Comes outside the box here to Trossard between the penalty area and the right touchline. 2 men on him. One is the excellent Bowen, who's worked prodigiously but concedes a corner on this occasion.
Yeah, he did really well, Jared Bowen. He came running back on the pitch after being treated and straight away came out to help out his teammates and takes the decisive touch there to put it out for a corner. Well defended.
Here come these substitutions. So for Arsenal, going off will be Trossard for Martinelli. That's a fairly predictable like for like. Not been Trossard tonight. And the second substitution will be Saka, who's coming on for Nelson, who was bright in the first half, I thought, Reece Nelson.
Yeah, he was pretty bright in that first half. He had a couple of opportunities up far on the right hand side, tucked inside, just couldn't quite get that final end product. His delivery in box though has been very, very good in this game.
Well, they're really turning to the big guns now. Bukayo Saka comes on, 5 goals this season. Martinelli with his couple to try and get them back into the game. Corner kick to Arsenal, right hand side, 66 gone, 2-0 down. In comes the corner kick, doesn't beat the first man, nearly comes out to Vieira, and then a big heave-ho from Paqueta launches it downfield back towards Ramsey. It's collected here by Declan Rice. And there are some boos. There are boos. I think they might be, I don't know whether they're ironic. I don't know. I hope they are not genuine for someone who gave such great service for West Ham. By and large, I think the reception for him is going to be terrific. Are they boos?
They are boos. Yeah, unfortunately, there are boos.
Well. Here he is again, Rice. He said all the right things about West Ham as well. He's misplaced the ball and gets ironic cheers from the West Ham fans. Well, a mixed reaction, let's say, for his return. Our producer Rob Nothman here came up with a very good point, I think, at half-time. Going back to that first goal, he was saying there was a degree of physicality in it. Now, the managers know there's not VAR at this stage of the competition, but they work on that in training. Well, they say you can be a little bit more physical in the penalty area.
Quite possibly, and it could quite possibly be spoken about from the players as well, that, look, you can go in the box a little bit more, you can, try and, convince or get away with a lot more without VAR being involved. I think certainly for players, they're playing with a little bit more freedom.
And that was Rob's first good idea. I just checked my diary since February 1963. Now it's Saka on the right-hand touchline for Arsenal. I'm kidding, wonderful man. We were at BBC together a long while ago. Goodness me, that's a long time ago anyway. It's too long. Goal at Ipswich, Flo Pollak.
Fulham have a second, Ipswich 0, Fulham 2. Rodrigo Muntz with the finish at the back stick after it was whipped across the face of goal. Ipswich 0, Fulham 2.
And we got a goal at Dundee, Rangers, Jane Lewis.
Yeah, Dundee 0, Rangers 1. The goal coming after just 4 minutes of play. Danilo burst forward, had a shot on goal. The ball kind of got caught underneath the goalkeeper, came back out, and Ryan Jack was there to pounce. But Rangers have editors 1-0 up here.
Rangers started 5 points below Celtic in the table. Wennox on 5 Live. Chelsea Blackburn, was it, John Southall?
Yeah, Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0, but Blackburn have had a great chance at the beginning of this second half. Harry Leonard one-on-one with Sanchez, put it wide of the left-hand side post. Badiashile was breathing down his neck, but he should have scored it. Chelsea 1, Blackburn 0.
The Shield scored for Chelsea. Then we know that Newcastle are 2-0 up against Manchester United. Liverpool lead at Bournemouth 1-0, and Everton 1-0 against Burnley. Or at least that's the way it was, John Bennett.
Yes, a second goal for Everton. Everton 2, Burnley 0, and it's Amadou Onana from just a couple of yards out. Corner was swung in. Burnley didn't deal with it. Fell to Onana, who tapped it in. Everton 2, Burnley 0.
68 minutes gone here at the London Stadium. West Ham 3. Arsenal 0. Massive schedule for both these clubs coming up. Arsenal, of course, have Newcastle away, then Sevilla at home, and this is shy of the December schedule, which is crazy for both of these clubs. West Ham go to Brentford, then have Olympiacos here when they'll need to win, and then they've got Forest and Burnley and TSC. The list goes on and on, all the way through to Christmas and the New Year. Belter of a Christmas schedule, and there are games all over the place, including Christmas Eve. Good luck, football fans, with that one. Crazy, but there you go. It's Rice infield towards Vieira. Back it goes then to Ben White, who inadvertently scored the first of the night, an own goal beyond his own goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. But Arsenal have possession now. Havertz deep inside West Ham territory. Touch it off to the glove. Martinelli ran into a thicker ledge. West Ham clear. Alvarez back to Kudus, and a big left foot high hoist volley into the centre circle is brought down clumsily by Arsenal's Kirio and very nearly given away. And I think they fouled their men to try and get it back. Vieira, St Johnson 2, Kilmarnock 1 now in Scotland. Vassal scoring after 47 minutes, 2 minutes in the second half, 2 for Clark in the first half there for St Johnson. Mark Schwartz.
Yeah, at the moment Arsenal really are struggling to get any sort of meaningful possession in the game, creating any meaningful chances. West Ham have done well. They've controlled the game. At times they've hustled Arsenal continuously from actually the first whistle of this game and to this moment in the game. They've been very, very good, very much on the front foot, and made it very difficult for Arsenal to really start anything and create anything.
Blackpool front foot in the second half at Fleetwood. They were 2-0 down at the break. It's 2-2, 2 in 3 minutes for Carey there. Fleetwood 2, Blackpool 2 in League One. Blackpool, decent season for them so far. Need to build on that. Rice tucks it to the left-hand side for Arsenal. Martinelli infield, then to Tommy Yassit. And Arsenal going nowhere because West Ham hungry in the challenge, one back by so far. Story of the game, I think maybe they've been hungrier in the tackle, West Ham.
They've certainly been better organised. They've worked well together. They've really sort of hunted in a pack, and they've really, just at times put Arsenal on so much pressure that Arsenal, they've forced the errors.
Must be difficult for... We talked about this earlier on the program, not so much for Lukas Fabianski because he's 38 in the autumn of his career, still got a couple of years left to play a big role here, those contracts up in June I see, but for Ramsdale, in out, not knowing what your future is, where you're going to be this time next season, must be very difficult for him. As a former goalkeeper yourself, you know that.
It is, it's difficult, and it's difficult also that it's not just him being one of the changes. There's like other players, outfield players have changed as well, so there's players that have not played a lot of football and they're trying to go out there and try and play the way that Arsenal and Mikel Arteta wants them to play. They're starting out at the back, trying to build up play, and at times certainly in this game they've looked very uncomfortable playing out at the back.
Mark, who won this competition with Middlesbrough 20 years ago against Bolton, I think it was, wasn't it, Mark? 2-1. Now here's Vieira over the halfway line. Tomiyasu has it. Always stretching though because Kudus was there. He's given the ball away. So far steams away, arms pumping, orange boots, little wristband on his left wrist. You can see it there as a blur as he takes down the right hand side and forces the free kick out of Martinelli, who was always struggling. He could keep up with him pace wise, but physically he was always struggling in it. So far he held on to it very well. Free kick.
Yeah, Sofel used all of his experience there, did really well, just was always in control, pretty much like West Ham have been in this whole game, and just really basically milked the foul from Martinelli and did well.
Free kick for West Ham. Now you're talking 22 yards from goal, yarding from the right hand toucher on an angle. Then if you were a rugby union goal kicker, you wouldn't fancy this because of the angle, but it's going to be a free kick that could well come in and cause danger. So foul is on it, leaves it. Little touch actually by his boot, finds Bowen, flashes it into the box, and Ramsdale sees it go past the post. As we go back to Gary Flintoff at Old Trafford.
Daisy cutter. To 5 minutes of added time here, and the cameras are firmly focused on the face of Eric Ten Hag. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2, Miguel Almiron with the first, Lewis Hall with the second, and it could have been worse for the home side, Jonathan. Hannibal could have been sent off for 2 separate fouls, but only the 1 yellow card was shown. Manchester United 0, Newcastle United 2.
Youngster in that Manchester United side. Youngsters struggle when teams aren't doing well. Difficult time for him as well. Liverpool 1 up at Bournemouth. Chelsea 1 up against Blackburn Rovers. Everton 2, Burnley 0. Fulham 2-0 up against Ipswich. In Scotland it's Celtic 1, St Mirren 1. Celtic squandered a penalty. Rangers 1 up against Dundee. No goals. Hearts, Livingston, Motherwell 0. Aberdeen 2, St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 1. And in that League One game, Fleetwood 2, Blackpool 2. You're up to date on 5 Live from the BBC. 16 to go at the London Stadium. Arsenal in there. Yellow and black have possession. Vieira on that left-hand side, yarded from the left-hand touch. He plays the ball out wide. And Tomiyasu returns it. Nothing on, so they had to come back to the halfway line, and Gabriel pivots of his right foot, plays it left-footed out wide to Tomiyasu. Chased down by Kudus. Listen to the applause. West Ham fans like young Mohamed Kudus, Accra-born Ghanaian international. His first club was the organisation called Right to Dream. And he's living the dream at this moment, the young Ghanaian. Playing Premier League football for West Ham United, having left Ajax in the summer. Rice has it. left here in the summer too. And he finds Gabriel. I'm sure the managers will be asked afterwards about this reception for Declan Rice. It's calmed down now, and he sprays a lovely ball out wide to the left-hand side, and it's headed away then by the right fullback for West Ham and so forth. We've got a goal coming up for you. One of Chelsea's defeats in the League Cup final was against the mighty Stoke City, I remember. Here's John Southall.
Those were the days. Chelsea 2, Blackburn 0. Is that game over? Raheem Sterling on the left of the penalty area, curled it into the bottom right-hand corner. 4th of the season for him. Chelsea 2, Blackburn 0.
John isn't a Chelsea supporter, by the way. Here's Tommy Yasu, centre circle. He has it now for Arsenal. Gabriel is to the left-hand side. I remember that League Cup final because Chris Garland, one of my idols early in life, and then a good friend, joined Chelsea, and all Bristol City fans were hoping that he'd do well in that League Cup run, and Stoke won. Wonderful triumph for Tony Waddington's side, I think it was at the time, wasn't it? Now here's Saka on the right-hand side. Saka drifts in from the right touchline then for Arsenal, finds on the edge of the penalty area, little loop ball by Eddie Nketiah. That sums it up. It didn't come off, heads went down, groans, ironic cheers from West Ham in that sort of night for Arsenal. 3-0 down.
Yeah, it has been. Yeah, it's been another frustration. They've had opportunities, just haven't had their kicking boots on. They really haven't had balls on enough shots on target, haven't tested Lucas Fabianski enough. He made that one save in the first half from Kai Havertz flick on, which was a good save. Other than that, they've really struggled to test the West Ham goal, and West Ham have looked pretty comfortable all evening.
And watching on from the stands, looking very disappointed, was the sporting director Eddie, who played for the Invincibles with Arsenal. You remember him, he looked pretty glum there as the camera found him up in the stands. West Ham 3, Arsenal 0. Mikel Arteta said they want to win every game they go into, but they've looked very short tonight, as we'll go to the Vitality. Bournemouth against Liverpool, and joined once again Sohail Sahi.
Yeah, Bournemouth have equalised. It's Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 1, direct from a corner, swung in from a left, and it was Justin Kluivert 2 yards out, nodded it back where it came from. Bournemouth have deserved this. It's Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 1.
Son of Patrick gets the goal. 1-1 Bournemouth against Liverpool, and now the manager was under huge pressure before they beat Burnley at the weekend. Got difficult league games coming up. Needed a boost from that game against Burnley, and another magical result tonight to take the pressure off him. Odegaard's about to come on for Arsenal then, who have possession. Vieira must think his time is up. Maybe it'll be Havertz to go off, but Havertz has more of a goal threat, I would say, in him, as they try and chase this game down from 3-0 down with 13 minutes to go. Almost impossible for them here to stay in the Carabao Cup, and they will be out before the quarter-finals for the first time then in 6 seasons. Half-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Newcastle, and Gary Flintoff.
And Eric Ten Hag has some serious questions to answer. Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2, Almiron with the first, Hall with the second, and the home side have very much been second best. Mason Mount is shot wide and forced a save from distance, but that's about it. And the Toon Army is in full-on party mode at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2.
Another chapter to be written in the buoyant history of Newcastle United under Eddie Howe, it would seem. Arsenal trying to find a consolation or a way back into the game, spread the play to the right hand touchline. Saka drops his shoulder, goes inside Paqueta, goes for goal, flicks up, deflects up off Alvarez, and it's met on the half volley, but accurately by Eddie Nketiah. Couldn't get any power behind the half volley, and it's cleared away by West Ham United once again as they lead 3-0 on 5 Live. That game at Old Trafford, by the way, which is on Sports Extra at the moment, will be here a little bit later on when we finish. And we have 11 minutes to go. Odegaard is going to come on now for Arsenal. I mean, they picked they made the changes, Mark, didn't they? But they did pick a strong side. He's coming on here for Eddie Nketiah, who's going on.
Yeah, they have. I mean, they've obviously brought the big guns on as the game has gone on, but I mean, as far as Arsenal's concerned, there's been little movement since Declan Rice has come on. They haven't really gained any more initiative. Now Martin Odegaard, I mean, there's not a lot of time left really to get 3 goals back. Just over 10 minutes with stoppage time. It's a tall order. West Ham look very solid. Don't look too bothered whatsoever with Arsenal at this moment in time.
I don't think Odegaard was ever going to start. He's been struggling with a bit of a muscle strain. He missed the weekend game. Well, if he scores tonight, just let me say Arsenal are unbeaten in 17 games. When he scores, they'll still have a mountain decline, because they're 3 down with 10 minutes to go right now. And they've given the ball away cheaply once again in the West Ham half. Paqueta settles on and strokes a beautiful ball forward here to Emerson. Emerson, centre circle, looks away to the right-hand side, and in possession now is Kudus. Kudus for West Ham, cuts inside the shot, deflects away wide for a corner kick, and again it was singing through the air, that shot by Kudus.
Yeah, it's a really good break again from West Ham. They've been very good on the counter. Kudus, as he gets control of the ball, he tucks on his left foot. Has that strike, it does take a deflection. Every time they go forward, they just look dangerous. They look like there's going to be a shot, there's going to be an end product, either on target or very close by.
James Ward-Prowse comes on for side Ben Rama. It's West Ham's first change of the evening. It's been quiet on that left-hand side. Ben White has kept him quiet, but then he's negated White going forward, I guess he would say. And on comes James Ward-Prowse, a runner-up in this competition in his Southampton days. And on he comes then for West Ham United, the man who joined the club to replace Declan Rice by and large for £30 million in the summer. And we'll go across there and have a little conflab with Jared Bowen, who's about to take this corner kick for West Ham United. Bowen takes it into the near post, it's flicked through his own penalty area there by an Arsenal player. Might have been Havertz back there defending. I can't make out who it was who got that touch. It was Havertz. Well, Paqueta there tried a little bit of fancy football straight out of the Xbox or whatever they call it these days, because it was a lovely little he kept the ball between his heels and tried to flick it up over his head and run through. Lovely bit of skill.
Yeah, it was a nice little bit of skill there. Unfortunately for him, though, he didn't manage to get to the ball, and Vieira's the one that gets to it first, and then Paqueta there, a couple of goes at it, and then in the end gives away a foul. But it looked nice, just the end product wasn't there.
Odegaard has it now for Arsenal, out wide to the right-hand side, and it's Saka taps at the penalty area. It's into Odegaard, square to Rice, little chip into the box straight through, and again the ironic cheers for the man they lionised, they idolised here, Declan Rice, a wry smile on his face. And I think some of these cheers are a little bit ironic, and I don't think there's a great deal of enmity about Arsenal fans are disappearing. Ooh, they're disappearing in number. Well, 7.5 minutes gone to go and 3-0 down. Escape the traffic and get away on a wet old night with the storm coming in. Here's Kudus for West Ham United to take on his man Gabriel, who got just a touch on it, and Arsenal should clear. Tomiyasu got a first touch, and now Ramsdale getting it away. Now this is crucial. Our next trip here to the Vitality, Bournemouth against Liverpool, 1-1 the last time we were there. Which way has the goal gone, Sohail Sahi?
It's gone the way of Liverpool, Jonathan. It's Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2, 20 minutes to play. Trent Alexander-Arnold switching the play from right to left. Nunes picked it up, left corner edge of the penalty area. He danced into the box, right-footed shot, curling, whipping past Radu. Absolutely brilliant. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2.
Going to be a very good player. Bournemouth 1, Liverpool 2. Liverpool, you've got a great tradition in this particular competition. Win it in the spring and it will be 10 trophies in this competition in its various guises. Carabao, Carling, Milk Cup. Back in the day it was just a plain old simple League Cup, a competition that was born in the 60s, and let's hope it never disappears. It's Arsenal in possession. Saka yarded from this near touchline on 5 Live. West Ham leading by 3-0, and Arsenal a forlorn chase now. Rice drills across 20, 30, 40 yard ball looking for Martinelli, hung long in the air, and therefore it was seen off by Sofar, who heads out of play. Yeah,
West Ham have set up really well tonight. They've just really had every answer to every question that Arsenal's posed to them tonight, and they've dealt with it very, very easily and very well at this moment in time. Arsenal just have looked very disjointed, nowhere near their best.
Listen to the West Ham fans. This stadium did take a while, everyone knows that, to become a football stadium. It is now, and that's largely due to the fact they've come back with a European trophy last spring. West Ham fans loud and proud. There's Rice for Arsenal, finds Gabriel. Gabriel slants the ball to the left-hand side. Vieira strokes it on. And Arsenal trying to build again. Back it comes to Rice. Looks to get the ball out wide to the left, and Martinelli's out there. Martinelli now for Arsenal. Game time for a lot of the squad players tonight. Minutes on the clock. Rice had to wait for his introduction to the game, as did Odegaard, but he diagonally finds White. That's a delicious cross across the face of the West Ham goal. No one was there apart from Sofal to edge it out.
Yeah, it's happened a couple of times tonight, hasn't it? Arsenal have got themselves in decent positions. Delivering the box has been okay. Just nobody making those runs into the box. They've only had one player, and it's been out of their reach.
Oh, they're in a strong position in the Champions League, courtesy of the wins against Sevilla and PSV. The win away in Seville and at home to PSV. The dent, of course, was a defeat in Lens. They play Sevilla at home in the week, and if they win that one, then they will be in a very strong position. They're in a strong position to challenge for the Premier League title, and they've got the FA Cup to come. Here's Saka as they go into the penalty area. Here Arsenal looking for a crumb of comfort. Emerson lifts it away, left-footed, with a balloon clearance out towards the far right-hand corner of the stadium as we look at that giant great exit tunnel over there from Olympic days. And it's going to be a corner kick for Arsenal, and we've got 4 minutes left for them to do something absolutely extraordinary at 3-0 down. In comes this corner any moment now. Martinelli, hands on hips. Now he's pointing to the sky. Havertz is in a dangerous position at the far post. Rice makes his run in from that far post area, stretching to get it away. The header was by Mavropanos, who's had a strong game for West Ham United. Back into the box it goes. Aged's header away, I beg your pardon. And Arsenal have it now on that left with Martinelli between box and touchline, jinking, trying to get away from his man. Draws the ball back to the heart of midfield, and Odegaard diagonally finds Saka, changes to his left foot, nudges square, and 5 yards away is Odegaard. Odegaard has a shot from range, did take a little deflection, I think, and Fabianski pats it down.
Yeah, he did really well. Lucas Fabianski, he watched it all the way. He was very quick on his feet, good movement. He had to make the adjustment because it did take a deflection, and it was dipping and swerving, and just makes the parry and keeps the ball very close to him.
When will he know, Lucas Fabianski? He's 38, time left for a goalkeeper. Zoff was 40, Buffon was more than 40. But when will he know that time is up? What is it with a goalkeeper that tells you?
Well, for me, it was when I stopped playing regularly. I knew that I wasn't having the power anymore. I wasn't preparing for games as you normally would because you're not playing, and therefore you kind of miss that game experience, and you for me it fell off quite quickly. I knew then, certainly my last year, that was it. I was just going to try and enjoy the rest of the season, and if need be play the odd game here and there. I could do it, but other than that, I believe at that level it was done with. I think it was more about your muscles, body. You just weren't stretching yourself to the same level as you were when you were playing week in, week out.
Substitution for West Ham United coming up. Chilo Kira is going to come on for them, and listen to the noise they make for Mohamed Kudus. They're not boos you're hearing, they're Kudus you're hearing from the West Ham fans. He scored a splendid second goal for them tonight, their second, after 4 minutes of the second half, and put them 2-0 up on the night and in the driving seat. Well, Blackpool from 2-0 down at Fleetwood in the first half scored 3 goals in 21 second half minutes. Lavery with the third. They're 3-2 up there. That's some comeback, isn't it? Arsenal still prodding away with 90 seconds to go, as we see on the big giant scoreboard advertising for future West Ham games to come around the corner here. Games like Forest at home and Palace at home in coming weeks, and Freiburg yet to play, of course, in the Europa, where they got off to a very good start with the wins in Freiburg and at home against TSC, but then they lost in Greece last week at Olympiacos, so still work to be done there. Arsenal still trying to play football, and a great rousing reception for Kudus as he walks around this near side and is about to disappear into the West Ham dugout. They absolutely love him here, Mohamed Kudus, after just 11 games. Vieira for Arsenal finds left-hand touchline. Martinelli, well balanced for a winger, pulls it back into Rice, 25 yards out, again the boos, into Odegaard. Now, West Ham fans are fiercely loyal and have their pride, and he did leave the club, but he left with great emotion, I think, and he chases across here, Rice, to close down on his conference-winning teammate Bowen, who takes it off his toes, and the West Ham fans love that as well. And they have possession, and we're about to enter stoppage time any moment now. 3-0 on 5 Live from the BBC. Thoroughly enjoyed it again. Newcastle 2 up at Manchester United. Liverpool 2-1 up at Bournemouth. Chelsea 2-0 up against Blackburn. Their voyage is about to end. Blackburn, Everton 2-0 up against Burnley, and Fulham 2 up away at Ipswich. This is a very good win that for Fulham. We've got 5 minutes of stoppage time here. Celtic still 1 apiece with St Mirren, and Rangers 1-0 leading at Dundee could close the gap, which was 5 points before tonight. Hearts goalless with Livingston, and Aberdeen 2-0 up at Motherwell, and St Johnstone 2, Kilmarnock 1. The goals from Scotland. Here's White now for Arsenal, inside his own half, 10 yards inside his own half to Odegaard. A little tight triangle with Saka involved. Back to White, who ambles forward, short pass into Odegaard, swivels and sends a 10-yard pass away to the dark-haired Tomiyasu, the Japanese international. Finds Martinelli left-hand touchline, halfway inside the West Ham half, spins, has a look forward. With nearly a minute played of those 5 minutes of stoppage time. No way forward for Arsenal. Lightweight through the middle today. West Ham have worked very, very hard to gain this cup victory in the Carabao 4th round, and it's Arsenal in possession here now with Odegaard. Looks for White on this near touchline. White back in field to Declan Rice and Tomiyasu. We're into that second minute of the 5 minutes of stoppage time. Arsenal looking for Martinelli to get across him. Well dealt with by Agard. Agard and Mavropanos have played very, very well at the back for West Ham United.
They have. They've done really well. They've done their job. They've been very much on the front foot. They've always put pressure on, whether it's Kai Havertz, Nketiah. But Arsenal have really struggled with that number 9. They've got no one up front at the moment who have really put them under pressure, those 2 big centre-half pairings. And the little that they did, they dealt with it very well.
No Gabriel Jesus in the squad tonight for Arsenal. He's got a problem, of course, and Ben White, I thought, might have got a high kick then on his hip. He's okay. He runs it off past David Moyes, still waggling his fingers and his hand in the direction of his defence to organise them back there. Good defender in his time was David Moyes at Celtic, where he won the league, and Cambridge and Bristol City, where he won the Football League trophy, the mighty Football League trophy, I think you'll find, and Shrewsbury and Dunfermline and the likes as well. Good defender was David. And here's Martinelli now for Arsenal to Vieira. Vieira squared to Declan Rice, but they're going nowhere fast. There's no end product. There's no end product in the offing for them. All this is way outside the West Ham penalty. Tidier there into Martinelli. Out wide to White now, between the box and the right-hand touchline. West Ham with 3, 6, 9 defenders back. Here's Rice again. Just side puts it square to Tomiyasu. And Havertz has it left-hand corner of the box. A little give and go with Vieira, but he gave it but didn't get the return. Martinelli now. We're nearly 3 minutes into stoppage time. A couple of minutes of stoppage time to go. And here's Arsenal on that left-hand side. In comes the cross. It's all the way through, and that, I think, is just about it. This game is done. West Ham heading for a 3-0 victory. So we'll go up and pick up the commentary now on 5 Live for Manchester United 0, Newcastle 2, and Conor McNamara.
Thanks very much to Jonathan Pearce.